Welcome to our ELA practice workshop. Let's get started. You may remember us citing text evidence when we were answering our comprehension questions in class. But here is a review. Text is written work like a story we read in class. Evidence is proof from that story. Text plus evidence is citing proof in the reading. Let's go on. When you are responding to a question that's asking you to provide evidence or cite evidence from the text, you must include the following 4 things in our checklist in your answer. The first, state the line number you are getting your information from. Every story we read in class has a line number and a line coordinating to that information. When you are pulling information from a line, you need to include the number next to that line. Second, quoted support. This is the exact line or lines from the story you are using to prove your claim. Quoted support is simply a quote from the text. Excuse me. The third, restate the question in your answer. If your question is asking you to provide setting, you must restate that question in your answer. The fourth, write and complete sentences for your answer. Let's keep going. Here we see an exemplar. The question, reread lines 1 to 13, identify details that describe the setting. How might these details contribute to the theme? Now, before we answer, let's look at the exemplar. We have a little checklist here. We know we need a line number, a quote, we need to restate the question, and make sure our answer is in complete sentences. Now, let's look at the exemplar. On line 12, it states, this is highlighted. Why? Because it's the line number. On line 12, it states, in a peach field near the Owl Creek. Why is in a peach field near the Owl Creek highlighted? Because it's a quote. So, within that one sentence of the answer, we have already seen 2 things off of our checklist completed. Let's keep reading. This shows the setting of the place and where the introduction takes place. These details contribute to the theme by setting a calm tone before one of the bloodiest battles of American history. Why is these details contribute to the theme by highlighted? Because they're restating the question, correct? Yes. Our exemplar answer has now 3 things we've identified that are in our checklist. What is the 4th thing that seems to have happened here that is in our checklist? Everything is in a complete sentence. This is the exemplar when you are asked to describe or provide evidence and cite that evidence within a text. Let's move on. Here you see an anchor chart. We are citing text evidence. These are citing text evidence used base terms. Now, you don't have to use all of these terms, but this is just a guide for you to see that these are some ways you can elaborate your answer. Let's look at the author said. You are providing a quote, hence the quotation marks with that one, the second. And I also like the, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th star says an example is on page or line. They're asking you where you're getting your information, but you are putting it in a different setting. An example is on page this or that versus just saying on page this or that. It's up to you. Both are correct. And when we look down at the Now I Can section, it also asks, or it also suggests that you can say, explain my thinking, provide support, give an example, use the author's information. This would be the latter part of your answer. These phrases on this chart allow you to support your evidence. Let's keep going. Now it's your turn. We will first read this short paragraph about Michael Jordan, and then we will answer the question together. Let's get started. Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player of all time. When he played for the Chicago Bulls, they had one winning season after another. He scored more than 100 points in 1,108 games, won 2 Olympic gold medals, and was ranked number 1 by ESPN magazine. Chosen for the NBA All-Star 14 times, Jordan was 10 times the scoring champ, 5 times the most valuable player, and 6 times the scoring champ of the NBA. When he began losing his hair, he shaved his head completely and started a fashion trend for other players. He was chosen to make an animated movie called Space Jam with Bugs Bunny. No other player has come close to those achievements. Let's look at our directions. Use the checklist to answer the following question. What is one reason Michael Jordan is considered the greatest basketball player of all time, according to the passage? Use text evidence to prove your answer. At this point, you can have out a piece of paper with you or follow along with my voice. You can see our checklist and you already know the 4 things that we need to include: a line number, a quote, restate the question, and make sure our answer is in complete sentences. So let's look back at this question one more time. What is one reason Michael Jordan is considered the greatest basketball player of all time, according to the passage? I'll give you about 15 seconds to look through once more as I am to pick out information that shows us Michael Jordan is considered the greatest basketball player. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, let's look at line 3. He scored more than 100 points in 1,108 games, won 2 Olympic gold medals, and was ranked number 1 by ESPN magazine. So for your answer, let's say on lines 3 through 5, it states, now this is your quote. You have to quote this entire sentence. On lines 3 through 5, it says, he scored more than 100 points in 1,108 games, won 2 Olympic gold medals, and was ranked number 1 by ESPN magazine. That is your quote. In your answer, you should have those 3 lines written out. Now, let's look back to our checklist. We have number 1, we have the line number. Number 2, we have the quote. Number 3, we must restate the question. So, we could say these reasons, because we've already listed them 3 through 5, lines 3 through 5. These reasons are an example of why Michael Jordan is considered the greatest basketball player of all time. Do you see how we simply restated the question to explain our answer? I'll give you a few seconds to write that down. 3, 2, 1. Now, the last thing on our checklist is to make sure everything is in a complete sentence. If your answer is anything like mine, or if you simply followed along with my voice and wrote down that answer, everything should be in a complete sentence. Now, let's go on. If you're a little confused or need more clarification, the video here can help you out. If you go to YouTube, you can type in, "Can you prove that?" Power standard number 1, or simply copy the link that I have on the slide. The teacher here provides a little bit more clarification on what exactly text evidence and citations are, if that was confusing you for a little bit. If it was not, I'm so happy that you engaged in this lesson today. Until next time, bye for now.